Disculpen la tardanza, pero por cuestiones del propio penal, nos vimos obligados a retrasar la presentación del reo.
¿Es usted Joaquín Guzmán Loera, alias el Chapo?
¡Conteste!
Sí.
Hola, estimados invitados y bienvenidos a un episodio bilingüe del podcast Bargain Binge. Soy tu anfitrión, Dylan, y conmigo, como siempre, es el Chupaperos.
Buenos días, mis amigos. Mi nombre es Iván y tenemos una película muy especial.
Y también, señor Pene se enfrenta a sí mismo.
And I'm Aaron, famous podcaster of Bargain Binge.
Uncultured swine.
Hey, man.
You didn't take Spanish in middle school, you jackass?
Bro, I took Spanish way more than in middle school. I wish I retained any of it at all.
Yeah, I took it up to the AP level in high school, and I still retain like almost none of it.
Dude, my little small elementary, not like early elementary school I went to, made you learn everything in both English and Spanish. I still got nothing.
Dude, that's rough. But, so if you don't know us, we are the Bargain Binge podcast. We randomly select a movie from a bargain bin, and then we review it, not only based on the movie contained on the disc, but also all of the features of the disc, and we determine whether or not the movie is ultimately a bargain. We are the Physical Media Podcast, that's right, and as you may have told from our little discussion about Spanish there, we have a very special selection, which Evan pulled from the bargain bin, and here's the clip of him doing that.
Alrighty, here we go. Here I go. Oh god. Oh my god, I touched something that wasn't a disc.
Oh no.
Oh god.
That's a sock or something.
Oh shit. Okay. What is this?
I cannot identify what this
It's a
is.
Spanish movie. Los dos Reyes, El Señor del Cielo y el de la Tierra. What the
Well, it's a four-movie pack
Oh.
of Spanish language movies.
Okay.
I don't know anything about any of these.
This is fascinating.
No, it's wild.
That is right. It is Los dos Reyes, El Señor del Cielo y el de la Tierra, or four Super Películas. Evan,
Yes.
how the fuck did you pull this shit? What the hell?
I don't know, man. I channeled some otherworldly power, and I reached so far down into the bin that I think I touched bedrock. And I just pulled this out, and as you heard in through Aaron and mine's reactions, we just were absolutely gobsmacked. We did not know what the hell this was, and it was very interesting to us. So Here we are reviewing a 4-movie pack of Spanish language films.
Yeah, so this is a really fucking weird DVD package. You can see it in the I'll put it in the description like I usually do. But so it's a 4-movie pack, as for Super Películas suggests, and the background is a random assortment of air vehicles.
Yeah.
And a prison.
Yeah, stock images of planes.
And helicopters, and then a high security prison at the bottom, which represents the movie we're watching today. But the movies in this are Las Dos Caras del Señor, La Fuga del Chapo, El Aguamielero, and El Rebozo de Mojado.
Yeah, when we pulled this, I told Evan that I did not believe there was a chance in hell this would be subtitled, and it wasn't.
And it wasn't. Yes,
What a surprise.
Yes, ladies and gents, we watched a movie in Spanish without subtitles.
We are going off the rails very early into the episode numbers. This is this is batshit insane. Let's see if this pays off.
It's a bold move.
It's quite an adventure.
There's just no sign anywhere on this that there's any intended American audience, or at least non-Hispanic, Spanish-speaking American audience.
Yeah. Usually with the multi-packs, trying to stay true to the binge part of our name, we'll generally try to, watch all the movies in a multi-pack. But undertaking 4 entire movies in a language that is entirely foreign to us and with no subtitles was a bit much. So Today we are only reviewing one of these movies, and due to search engine optimization, the word podcast and Chapo go together very well. So we will be reviewing La Fuga del Chapo. So take that, Will Menaker, and all you jackasses. We're going to take all of your search results and stack them onto us. So
yeah, get off of my Letterboxd.
All right, Evan. It's time for you to read the back of this case. Well, just specifically the La Fuga del Chapo. Let's see how your Spanish pronunciation has retained.
It's choppy to say the least, but
Chapo.
Chapo. El Fuga del Chapo. So the descripción is dicen ser llevados a las cárceles de máxima seguridad, pero cuando el poder y la corrupción del gobierno interviene no hay fuga imposible. Tal es el caso de esta historia que todo mundo I don't know what that...
Fue testigo?
Yeah, that's fue. Fue testigo y que ahora presentamos.
Very good Peggy Hill impression.
In español, por favor.
I also have the translation here. Well, the Google Translate. I mean, that intro was Google Translate. I apologize to any actual Spanish speakers, but I'm doing the Southwest a major disservice here. But the translation of the back via Google is, they claim to be taken to maximum security prisons, but when government power and corruption intervene, there is no impossible escape. Such as the case of this story that everyone witnessed, and we now present.
Yeah, that's a correct translation. I can say without a doubt that's damn near the exact translation.
I mean, that's about as straightforward as the movie is.
Yeah, and that there's almost no story whatsoever.
The movie, despite us not understanding Spanish, it could just be in English and it still probably wouldn't make any fucking sense, as we'll get into. But no trailers on this. Unsurprising. Surprising to no one, there are no trailers on this. The back of the case says, distributed by IMT Inc. in North Hollywood. So this is just some distributor that's trying to exploit the Hispanic market in America, just grabbed some random low-budget Mexican films and slapped 4 of them onto a disc. And it really shows the lack of care put into this because, oh my god, this is one of the worst-looking things I've ever seen.
No, you can't make out half the content because of the complete lack of visual information.
Yeah, not exactly the best situation for us going into a film without having any notion of what the characters are saying at any time. So we have to try to decipher what's going on through visual cues, and the quality is awful.
Oh, yeah. From what we can tell, it seems to be shot on film because you can see scratches throughout on the transfer. Not a very good film transfer to begin with, but it then seems to have gone to VHS, and then from there it seems to have been transferred to digital for this release. So this is many generations separated from its source material.
Right.
So any sort of sharp detail that you might find on DVD is absolutely not present, and it doesn't help that it is extremely compressed to fit 4 whole feature-length movies onto one disc.
Yeah.
It might surprise you to find that there are no trailers on this.
No.
It immediately takes you to a menu with some stock images, and it lists all 4 movies. And we watched the second one on the list, La Fuga del Chapo. And without any more details to talk about on the disc, we can just talk about this movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I just, when we got it, I didn't think it was going to scan. Like, I thought someone just, like, threw that in the fucking bin.
Yeah. No, it had a tag on it, and I paid $5 for it.
Yeah, this is nowhere to be found on, like, no listings on any sort of website. You can find it on Amazon through a vendor that's charging $20 fucking dollars.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute anomaly, and that's why, like, I was cautiously optimistic, but I was thinking we could have struck gold here, and well, I guess we'll get into if that happened or not.
Yeah, I ended up having to grab this for $8 on eBay. I'm a professional podcaster. I can't make any excuses. And that's why we are now diving into 2001's La Fuga del Chapo.
Allá en San Pedro Escatlán nace este gallito fino y si permiso me dan les cantaré su corrido valiente acá.
So it's about, as far as we can determine, it's about El Chapo.
Yeah.
That's it.
It seems
that's
that
all we got.
El Chapo go to jail, and that's the film.
El Chapo go to jail. Prison guards let him sort of walk about, and
yeah, so there's very confusing because the entire movie, there are only so many things that happen, but they keep repeatedly happening. There's, you see, because we don't understand Spanish, well, but the same scenes, as far as we can tell, keep happening over and over again, regardless. Like, through visual language, you can tell that there's not much of a progression.
No.
Okay, yeah. No, here's a little tip for you, film fans. When you make a movie, you're supposed to make it, like, at least fairly intelligible with the sound off. But, this is completely unintelligible in, like, a moment-to-moment basis.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So what we can determine is that El Chapo goes to prison and a journalist is on the case trying to determine the details. And that's about all you can tell until the movie is like toward the end, and then you kind of realize what the conflict was supposed to be the entire time. But I don't want to spoil that. We'll let that reveal happen around the time that, the movie does, because like this podcast, we aim for 90 minutes. This movie is almost to the second, and probably without the without seeing like digital information from after the VHS ended and they didn't cut it out. It probably is down to the second.
Yeah, they
90 minutes.
They squeaked by. They were really trying to get that 90-minute runtime, and by God, they did it. No matter how many scenes they had to repeat, or no matter how many scenes they had to put in slow motion for no reason.
Okay, the thing that's shocking about that is that a movie like this normally is 80 minutes, where the credits are extended as far as they can go, so that the actual movie is like 75. But they went for a full 90. I guess they thought that's how much you needed to hit, but it's not. But
No.
they do everything they can by hook or by crook to get to that time.
Mostly by crook. Plenty of crooks in this
Lots
movie.
of crooks. Criminales.
It opens with this slow-mo sequence of El Chapo wearing this very debonair San Francisco 49ers jacket, and he's being led into prison, but the entire sequence is drawn out to like 5 minutes and set to like 30% speed with frame tearing because it was not shot for slow-mo.
Yeah, no, you said slow motion sequence like it was like an intended part of the movie, but they just grabbed shots that they had and that you see again later.
Yes.
And slowed them down as much as they could.
It goes on for so long that I almost thought it was a problem with the transfer itself.
Yeah, it's really weird because the whole thing with independent movies is if you're going to pad out your runtime, credits are the place to do it.
Yeah.
Put white text on a black background. John Carpenter that shit.
The credits are like 1 or 2 minutes, or the end credits rather.
Oh yeah, the end credits blow by, but the opening credit scene just goes on forever and ever.
Yeah.
And we find within like 5 minutes of the movie that the opening credit scene is in media res, but then that scene just plays out again, like I said, 5 minutes later.
Right. And
it's like the second scene of the movie. It's not like they're wrapping back around to it. They just took the second scene, slowed it out, removed the close-ups for dialogue, and then edited it into the movie.
It's fascinating. So we see El Chapo go to jail, but then we see the inner machinations of Chapo's gang at his villa, where... Okay, let me just pull my notes out here.
I hope you wrote those notes in Spanish.
We start with a scene of a character that we refer to as Mexican Burt Reynolds, who has a fantastic mustache.
Yeah, he's got a cowboy hat. He's got a mustache. He exudes the same energy as Burt Reynolds does.
Yeah, and most of the people in this movie like don't have pictures on their IMDb, so we can't like figure out who anyone is.
And we can't tell what their character names are because it's hard to distinguish names in the middle of people talking Spanish very quickly.
Dude, I don't think I got a single name. Now that you're mentioning that, I don't, except for Chapo, obviously. But
yeah,
we came in with that knowledge. We don't even know if they called him that in the movie.
I don't remember.
That's true.
I don't. Wow, yeah, that's not something I thought about.
It's fascinating. No, and Mexican Burt Reynolds is, just to describe him for you, the audience, is a shriveled, high-waisted old man, but he's got like big dick energy.
Oh yeah,
he will fuck your bitch.
The funny thing is, you mentioned that he's old. He's literally Burt Reynolds in his older days. He's not like young Burt Reynolds.
No. Yeah.
No, he's end days Burt Reynolds, but he could fucking demolish everyone involved in this podcast about 30 seconds.
Yeah, as he does to every mariachi band he encounters.
We meet Mexican Burt Reynolds, and he does a drug deal because he worked with Chapo. They run drugs. He pulls up. It's a very generic, like every other scene like that you've ever seen. Two cars pull up facing each other. Burt Reynolds is like, "Where's the money?"
Trajo el dinero.
And they hand him the money, but then the guys that are giving him the money pull out guns on them and immediately get demolished.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Burt Reynolds ain't playing no games. He's like the biggest badass in the whole cartel. And it makes you wonder why El Chapo even gets to exist when Mexican Burt Reynolds is around.
Oh, yeah, it's like...
Why does Ross, the largest friend, not simply eat the other five?
I would have preferred if he was the main character, if the movie was centered around Mexican Burt Reynolds.
And when he shoots these guys, it has to be some of the most funny death acting I've ever seen. They like crumple in the most unnatural way.
Oh! I feel like the actor playing Mexican Burt Reynolds is like just living it up because he tries to shoot everyone in like the most like casual, I'm cool as fuck way possible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Ash Williams, he single-handed shoots a shotgun.
Yeah.
Very often in this movie.
But then his victims die in the most unconvincing death possible.
So yeah, that's just to establish there's drugs involved. We're introduced to the main cop character, who we'll refer to as El Capitan, and his secretary, who are very clearly like, we gotta get Chapo.
¿Y de los criminales no tiene algún rastro?
That's what we could determine from that scene.
El Capitan looks like some type of weird adaptation of the Penguin from a Mexican Batman movie.
He's very interesting looking, and his secretary for almost the entire run of the film is wearing vertical stripes, which is, I believe, is a huge fashion no-no, unless you are Beetlejuice or a referee.
They are incredibly thick. Yeah, they are full referee stripes. They're not like thin black stripes.
Yeah. Pinguina.
Thank you, Evan.
You're welcome.
Our audience actually has been struggling to understand the podcast until you came back in with that.
telling us some very random words that we happen to say and how they translate to Spanish. That's very helpful. Great contribution.
Yeah.
You're doing the most, Evan.
Yeah.
Why are
I'm pulling the
we
most
even here,
weight.
Aaron? Why are we even here?
Dude, I have no fucking idea.
May as well be the Evan show.
No, Evan comes in here and he outlines the whole plot. He makes every comparison possible to like similar movies. He then takes the audio file, he cuts it all together, and he puts it out by himself.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. I don't even know. I mean, I'm just here at this point because I love La Fuga del Chapo.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm here because it's a sick film that I loved. And I want everyone to know.
All these hipsters out here talking about how they love foreign film. Listen, if you've never seen La Fuga del Chapo, what are you doing, man?
If you watch foreign movies with the subtitles on, you are a fucking coward.
Yeah, you can watch some boring-ass Spanish Netflix movie about family or whatever, or you can watch La Fuga del Chapo.
When those subtitles, only the true connoisseurs of foreign films do this. Thank you very much.
I think Alfonso Cuarón's the director of this.
No, this has content.
Yeah. Fuck you, Cuarón.
People shoot each other.
They do. A lot. There's actually a pretty good amount of that. It's just so flat that it doesn't feel like an action film.
At a certain point, we're not going to be able to break this down beat by beat, so...
No.
What gets the plot going is we see Chapo himself and all of his buddies are hanging out at his ranch, and they are listening to a ranchera band that they seem to have commissioned to play for them. The accordion player has a very cool accordion that looks like the Mexican flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's got some drip.
And while this is happening, El Capitan is in a completely disconnected shot, aiming down the sights of his machine gun, planning to kill Chapo in this very funny scene that's supposed to be the traditional someone's looking down the scope while people are unsuspecting,
right.
But it's cut with no sort of urgency or anything, so every single shot lasts forever. It's very awkward.
Also, they couldn't even bother to put a scope on the footage, so it's just
an overlay.
Yeah, it's just like shaky cam that keeps panning back and forth. It's like it took me a second to even realize that's what they were going for.
And he's in a dramatic sunset shot, while everyone else it looks like 10 a.m. and and so you don't even grasp that they're in the same space for like several seconds.
Whom amongst us does not love getting drunk at 10 a.m. and listening to some ranchero music, you know?
Yeah.
Not I.
Not nor I.
Yeah, the police chief just one of Chapo's buddies who's wearing a very beautiful sequined cowboy shirt leans in front right before he's about to pull the trigger. He's like, "Damn it, that was the only time I could have done that." He waits until after the band plays the entire song, which you see in the movie, before he goes to shoot, which is the least ideal time. You want noise to cover it, so there's calamity. People aren't seeing it coming.
Right.
But he's like, this is not the time.
Yeah, a normal scene in like a normal film would be you see him get into position and set up, and that's intercut with the band getting ready and then going, and then right when the band is finishing up, he gets a shot lined up, and then the guy walks in front. Probably not a guy from the band, probably a waiter or something, but so that it's covered in any way.
And then he makes a face. He's like, damn it.
Yeah. But instead, it just keeps cutting back to like the same shot of him already ready with the gun. And he just doesn't do it. And then a guy gets in his way and he's like, fuck, as if he was actually going to pull that trigger. When we all know he was too much of a bitch to do so.
Well, it's weird because this scene happens and then the next scene is El Chapo's just hanging out in his house talking to some guy and he gets captured. Like moments after he's not shot by the captain.
Right.
Yeah, he goes inside with his 49ers jersey and just, chills out for a second. And it's like, what was the plan? Was he just trying to murder him before the rest of the cops could get to him? Is he that cool?
Dude, I don't know. I'm still not convinced that was El Capitan.
It's possible it wasn't.
It's so hard to distinguish faces in this film because of the fidelity.
Yes.
Well, he's backlit.
And that specific shot, the lighting is
He's backlit with like 3 different generations of artifacting. So we had a very difficult time this entire movie trying to tell characters apart. Yeah. At some point we got it down, but we didn't go back to check if it was the captain.
No.
So, I mean, it could have been anyone, really. I mean, it could have just been a dude.
Mexican Burt Reynolds is the most distinguishable character.
Mustache.
Yeah, he has a mustache. That's half the reason why we care about him so much, is he has a defining physical trait that reads in 240p.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he gets captured, and this is where we see the opening scene played at normal speed. That plays, and then the 5 minutes in between are just El Chapo hanging out and introducing the captain character, and then we see the opening scene again.
Except with a couple dialogue scenes thrown in.
Yeah, it's not a proper in medias res at all.
It's very strange. Then we're introduced to a character that we are almost certain is a journalist. The whole movie, he's in talk with the captain. They're trying to figure out this dilemma that we'll figure out later. But he's also very distinct because, Aaron, you said he looks like...
Mexican Bruce Banner.
Yes.
He just, something about like his hair and the glasses and his like goofy outfit, he radiates Bruce Banner energy. So Bruce Banner and the Penguin are teaming up in this film, and it's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, we have some cross-promotional tag teaming here.
Yeah.
And he's wearing this very like stereotypical journalist vest where, you know, they hold their various journalism tools such as pens and notepads. But
Dylan,
we never see him really utilize it.
Dylan, you absolute moron. He has a camera. He needs 15 pockets for his little camera.
Yeah, but then we see him with the camera later, and on top of the vest, he's wearing a fanny pack specifically for his camera.
Yeah, he is. No, I have no idea what he carries in there. He's a very powerful man, but he never hulked out at any point across the runtime.
Disappointing.
It's what we were waiting for the entire time, and it just never played out like we wanted, and that's the biggest tragedy of the movie. Really,
he hulks up and then he tries to take a photo and he just smashes the camera in like one fell
like
swoop.
Hellboy does in Hellboy 2019.
Oh yeah. He taps his phone to answer and then it breaks the screen.
So Mexican Bruce Banner is talking to some guy with a ponytail. He's the other character we were able to determine who he was because his hair is always in a ponytail. We have no idea what the hell they're talking about, and we have no idea who the ponytail guy is.
No. At first, we thought he might be his editor. However, after witnessing later events in the movie, that's unclear.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Yeah, there's a prison guard who appears to have a ponytail, and I don't know.
There's a press conference with the captain, which is very strangely staged.
Oh, it's
because
bizarre.
It's the captain and all the police people are standing on one end of a courtyard that's like 50 feet wide with a boom hanging in the shot that's on a pole that's very clearly like 20 feet long. And then on the extreme opposite of the courtyard is the press.
Yeah, with no boom operator. So he's somewhere in between them.
It's just a reverse shot, and you never see the boom operator in the shot of the crowd of reporters. So I'm pretty sure that it was just an excuse for them to not frame out the boom.
I'm just picturing a director like seeing the boom gently coast into the shot, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, wait a minute. Oh, they might have a boom. There's audio here.
Wait, it's fine. We don't need to fix it. We don't need to go back. Let's just keep rolling with it.
Yeah, you know what? Put it more in the shot.
Frame line be damned. So, in the most baffling scene in the movie, and probably the funniest, Chapo is taken from jail to prison somewhere in a city, which is established by a road sign that we could not determine what it said, because there's an abbreviation, so we have no idea where this is taking place. And that shot appears every time it cuts back to the prison, the same shot. And he's walked in by this guard, and you see their feet cross a cell going to the right. But then, immediately, you see them walk across the same cell to the left.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's trying to convey that, like, this is a really big prison or something with these reused shots of walking, but it just seems like he can't pick where he wants to put him.
Yeah. I feel like they thought it was supposed to be like a montage of them, like, you know, walking through the prison, and it just seems like it goes on forever. But it's hilarious because it's so clearly the same stretch of cell, and yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so much footage that they used multiple times in this movie. It's insane.
Because this movie was shot for 5 pesos, it is it's very clearly just one cell over and over again. And it happens, it just keeps going. You think that they're going to stop after the second time because it pans up to them, but then it just goes into like a solid 2-3 minutes of just feet going back and forth. And
we see that shot like 5 or 6 times.
But he's finally led into his cell where, as you might expect, a major drug lord might be in a prison. It's very cushy. It's got a nice bed, a TV, books, fruit baskets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a piece of media with the kingpin in it, it's that.
Hors d'oeuvres, cheese boards, the works.
You know, a full mariachi band.
No, not quite.
No, unfortunately, the mariachi bands never made it to the prison set.
That would have been funny.
Well, yeah, they couldn't make it to it alive.
I believe in the credits you see that there are 5 ranchera bands.
Grupos musicales, Los Sementales de Nuevo León, Los Zainos del Norte, Costa Norteña, Clave Norteña.
But some of them seem to just be, a few of the members are repeated. It's very interesting.
Yeah, 2 of the bands have almost the same name, but with one word changed. It makes you wonder, like, are they an weird overlapping ranchero band?
It's highly possible. So he's in prison, he wants out, he's talking to his lawyer, he wants out of prison. There you go. So this is where the movie just kind of becomes the same 3 or 4 scenes over and over again.
Right.
Well, we got you to the point where it stops being new content.
Yeah.
So from here on, you see the lawyer, he talks to a prison guard. We don't know what's going on. He talks to a prison guard.
Lo que necesito para mi cliente es un poquito de esparcimiento y libertad. Verá, se va a llevar a cabo una carrera de caballos. Y los organizadores quieren que mi cliente esté presente.
And then from then on, it just becomes a cat and mouse game. That's a little bit, that implies some sort of urgency. What's
yeah, what's like a
like maybe when you're in your bed with your significant other and you're fighting over, you know, equal halves of the bed, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe like when your dad doesn't understand that GPS technology exists and he's like, follow me. and you gotta just try to keep up with them in your car, and it's like it's not that hard, but every now and then you're kind of like, oh fuck, he took a right and there's a guy in front of me.
Yeah, or it's like, oh, he's driving slightly slower than I want to drive.
Yeah, but you know, if you pass him, you'll just get lost.
Yeah, or he'll be like, oh, slow down, Speed Racer.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll call you on your phone and make like a weird joke to you, and you're like, ugh, why did this happen? You know, I think that might have more tension between the two parties than this does.
Yeah, it's very weak, the plot, we'll say, because no matter what language you speak, through the visual language of filmmaking, there's generally a plot you can pick out of pretty much anything.
The language of filmmaking should be a language that everyone can understand, no matter what tongue you speak in. But I mean, honestly, it could have been worse with this. It could have been a lot worse.
I mean, at least people get shot.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could vaguely understand, just going off of the visuals, what was happening, sort of.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, like, we're making a lot of assumptions here about our own level of understanding. Like, we could have completely misgauged most of this. We can always figure out, Mexican Burt Reynolds is killing people. That's shows that the language of cinema is universal. But some other scenes where they just talk and are like, and you think they're just going like, maybe they were like, I'm getting you out of jail now or something, but then nothing happens. That, I don't know. Like, this movie really struggles with flat shots of people talking in rooms.
Yeah, just shot, reverse shot.
Yeah, so basically a lot of the time is how we determined what was going on is we just had to assume this character is talking to this character. What could they possibly be talking about at this point in time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that got us most of the way there, but we will never know who Ponytail Guy was.
Yeah. You know, we could pick out certain keywords as well.
Well, yeah, that every time that Burt Reynolds is going to kill somebody, he says dinero 15 times.
Pero el dinero qué?
He needs money. He needs his fucking money.
I don't know why he needs money from them.
Donde está mi dinero?
Yes.
Do these mariachi bands owe him money?
There's a scene where one of the ranchero bands plays for the cartel, and they play the entire song, and that's the running theme of the music segments. Is you hear the entire song shot with like the most basic like 60s music video coverage.
Yeah. The whole song for like 4 minutes.
And then an interaction happens. Like 3 to 4 minutes each song. So that's probably like, what, 25, 30 minutes of this movie is just ranchera?
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere in that ballpark for sure.
But the whole song plays, the two singers in the band walk over to the cartel members, and Mexican Burt Reynolds is like, dinero.
Yeah, he keeps saying dinero. He points at himself. He points at them. He keeps saying dinero. I can't gauge if it's like they owe him money or he didn't think their performance was worth the money.
Muy buenos filarmónicos y muy bonita fiesta.
Oh yeah, so he's not going to pay them, and instead he just brutally murders them.
Yeah, he pulls out his shotgun and in his signature way, one-handed, arm stretched all the way out like Ash Williams, he just shoots them in cold blood while the other band members run away.
I'm pretty sure I said while we were watching, as just a joke, like, oh, I hope he kills them, as if that would ever happen, but then it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it happens again and
it happens like 2 more times.
Burt Reynolds' entire thing is that he kills people. When he's in a scene, the best you can hope for is he kills people.
Not just people who play instruments.
Yeah. he has something against mariachis or in rancheros.
Musicians. He has a vendetta against musicians.
See, he's interesting because like there's very little like physical screen presence in this movie for an action film, but whenever he's there, you're like, oh shit. Some stuff's gonna go down. People are gonna die in the scene.
Yeah.
Like you said, he pointing at the people, pointing at him. He is delivering a physical performance that informs you what's happening, which is very helpful to us.
Yes.
His screen presence completely overshadows that of the titular Chapo.
Oh, yeah. Chapo is like the most just like schlubby guy, and he just wears the most non-assuming clothing because you see, well, the 49ers jacket sticks out like a sore thumb, but he only wears that when he's being captured and taken to prison.
He doesn't even look like Chapo. I think Aaron mentioned this, but
not even a little
before.
bit.
But yeah, every like picture you've ever seen of Chapo, he has some kind of facial hair, but in this he has none, and it's like, there's just nothing there that tells me, oh yeah, that's Chapo.
Well, yes, he has the very funny 49ers jacket for a little bit. After that, he just wears like a beige jacket and hat, and he wears it like the entire rest of the movie. It's like oversized, and it kind of like absorbs him. Like, you notice it more than you notice him.
Yeah, those are the articles of clothing you wear when you want to be unassuming. I mean, I guess that kind of plays to his character, but, like, it also, with trying to figure out, like, that's him, it's not great.
No.
This is a cat and mouse game between the journalist and El Capitan, who are teamed up to stop El Chapo from what we don't fully realize, because all of a sudden Chapo starts reappearing at his ranch, and with like no visual cue. It's just one scene, he's in prison, and then the next time we see him is 3 minutes into a scene at his villa. It's like you see an entire mariachi performance and you see the other people he's sitting at a table with, but you never see a close-up of him until like the song is over. So you didn't know he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, they don't like stage it like a reveal. Like when he gets captured by the police, they do this big push in on him. But they don't do anything like that when they show that, oh, actually, somehow he's out of prison, which makes you think it's like a flashback or something until you realize it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was a flashback at first, and then we were like, oh, no, because there kind of was a flashback at the beginning, and there was like, flashed white for a second. So he's out on bail. He must be out on bail. That's what he was talking about, his lawyer. That's what his lawyer was talking to the prison guard about. But no, this turns out that this is the entire conflict of the movie, which we didn't determine until, like, what? There were maybe 40 minutes, 30 minutes left?
30 at best.
Yeah. It was very far into the runtime.
So the conflict the entire time is that Chapo is slipping out of prison, but it's not very clear if anyone notices, because there's a bunch of scenes with El Capitan, and he's talking to some higher up in the industry, so he's probably not a captain, but maybe a lieutenant or something.
Probably.
But we call him El Capitan.
Yes.
But he keeps talking to the guy, and he's very clearly trying to convince this higher up guy that something is going wrong.
Bueno, hay cierta información de que han visto algunos internos fuera del penal.
Bueno, teniente, esos son rumores.
And we couldn't tell what he thought was going wrong, but then the journalist, he goes out to the villa, he takes some photos of Chapo, brings them back to El Capitan, and then like, oh, we have proof that he's slipping out of prison.
Yeah, but some of the basic language of cinema is just not there. Like, when he shows him the photo, you don't get a close-up of the photo or, like, anything, so you can gauge, like, which one he's looking at or, like, how much of Chapo's on the screen. He just holds it outwards in a wide shot, and especially in this quality, there is no way to discern what he's showing him.
No, yo sí lo conozco. ¿Tú cómo sabes que es él?
Porque yo tomé las fotos.
For some reason, they can't show us a close-up of something like that, yet they love to zoom in on, like, a newspaper someone's holding.
Yeah, the only close-up you're going to get is if the shot starts wider and then zooms in.
Yeah, there were no inserts the whole movie.
A lot of this, trust me, audience, is not a failing on our part. We did our due diligence because we are reviewing this disc as it was presented to us in the bin. We are not cheating. Yeah. We're not going out of our way because we want disclosure. I ripped this so we could watch it together on YouTube since we're remote. But full integrity, it's just a rip. Didn't use like the YouTube auto subtitles or anything.
Boy, was it tempting, but we didn't.
It was
we
tempting.
Committed. We went full frontal.
Yeah, no. If we were cowards, we would have watched this with English subtitles created by YouTube auto generation or something. But we are real working class heroes, here to help you know what you should and should not buy. And if you cannot speak Spanish, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at the end, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's just a complete lack of coverage, and that's what's important. Like we were saying, film is something that you like a painting, it can just tell you just based on visual language alone what's happening.
It should.
But when there's a lack of variety in the way that you're looking at things that determine what is what, then it's gone. And it also doesn't help that all of the information is gone.
Yeah.
Right.
No, like, if you go back to the early days of cinema and you watch a silent movie, yeah, a lot of them heavily use text cards, but like a lot of Buster Keaton movies and other stuff in that area, like, don't. They only have very occasional cards to fill in details, but you always know visually what's going on.
Yeah.
And those movies were made in like 1920. So I think in 2000 or whatever, they should be able to put a close-up of an important object.
Yeah, from its start, it's a visual medium. Like, there was a time when sound didn't exist, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So it's, like, important to convey thoughts and ideas through the cinematography. You know, that's not to say that you should be able to mute a film you're watching without subtitles and get every single detail of the plot, but you should at least have a pretty decent understanding of what's going on.
The general arc, at least.
Yeah, and this isn't a film of... This is not a movie that's about two characters sitting at... You know, it's not My Dinner with Andre. Like, this is supposed to be an action-oriented crime docudrama thing, and there's just zero, like, almost zero visual storytelling, like, scene to scene.
And it just becomes more confusing because of the repetition. Because, like, so from here on, you see Chapo at his villa, hanging out, watching rancheros.
Oh, surprise. It's a ranchero band.
And sometimes Burt Reynolds kills people.
Big shock.
We see the journalist talking to the El Capitan. And we see El Capitan talking to his superior. With there's a few things sprinkled in there, like, but it's just maybe two different characters will talk. And then there's some scenes where Chapo is in prison, very displeased. So from this, we can't really glean the fact that, you know, he's not supposed to not be in prison because we just assume he's on bail. But to further look into the scenes on the ranch / villa / whatever.
Well, we also spent a long time wondering if these scenes took place before the other scenes.
we always have an inkling like, oh, maybe this is out of order in some way, but it turns out it's all told pretty strictly chronologically.
Outside of the weird slow-mo intro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which they did to pad the runtime.
So to look at the scenes at the ranch / villa / whatever Chapo's property is, it's kind of misleading to say it's just ranchera stuff, because we also have a scene where there's a horse race, where we see two characters are introduced to race horses, and then guess what happens?
You know, don't tell us what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Why is Mexican Burt Reynolds in the scene? What could he do?
It's because he kills the people who ride the horses.
Oh my God!
La carrera fue ilegal. No, señor. La carrera fue perfectamente legal. Su caballo lo inyectaron para que ganara la carrera. Inyectado.
And then also there is a cockfight scene. I don't think Burt Reynolds kills anyone at the end of that, though.
No, I think he just watches a cockfight.
No, and also
we see chickens die.
It was the honest to God cockfight. There were just chickens going at it.
Up.
They didn't explicitly show the chicken, whichever one lost. They didn't show it dying. However, they then cut to a dead body of a chicken. So.
Yeah, I think it was like twitching. Like, I think he was vaguely alive, but clearly like
last
dying.
breaths.
Yeah.
Right.
That was really strange and out of place. But then also there's a scene where Burt Reynolds kills some random people in cold blood that we never see before or like the aftermath of. It's just a woman is standing against a white wall and blam, it's tainted with blood.
Mi madre no era santa. No, por favor, no.
Oh, that was one of the most disturbing kills because it was just so visceral and gross.
Mexican Burt Reynolds is the true antagonist of the movie by any real metric.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the heavy of the gang, but generally the heavy still has less screen time than the main guy in a movie. But he is the star of Chapo's gang.
Yeah. No,
and for that we love him.
He's practically the main character of the movie. Like he might have more screen time than cop and journalist.
Who are theoretically the protagonists of this picture.
Theoretically. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly Bruce Banner's and the Penguin are pro tags, but I'm not really buying it.
I wonder if any of these películas are like in the same universe.
On the back, we also have, very interestingly, the 4 movies are displayed as DVD cases.
Yeah.
Yes.
But each one you can see the poster, and it looks like one is about immigration because you see some 2 people walking through the desert.
Backpacks.
And I see the word Arizona in the description. And they're carrying a kid on their back. So that's a movie about immigration. Then there's one that seems to be I don't even know. It's just kind of a Western kind of thing, I guess. It's just got a few dudes wearing hats.
Yeah. El Agua Mielero?
Agua Mielero, yeah.
Water.
Agua Mielero.
I will say Del Senor, Las Dos Caras. Del Senor. Has the best cover on here.
It has in the foreground there are 2 dudes holding guns, but in the background there's a mirrored image of a guy who looks like Drill's profile picture on Twitter.
he's just this mustache guy with sunglasses giving like a creepy smile.
He's doing the Drill Jack Nicholson face, and it's mirrored.
It's really funny.
It's so good.
Okay, I feel like that if we ever do another one of these, it's got to be that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a masterpiece.
It does look like a masterpiece. That's very exciting. So I guess we can describe the end of this movie just to wrap up the main portion of this. So, like we mentioned earlier, the journalist brings the photos to the captain. He's like, "Oh shit, this is proof. We gotta go do something." We see a ponytail guy get the shit kicked out of him by some of the cartel members outside of the prison. It's not completely sure what's happening.
It's so dark. Like I can't see anything.
But there are some amazing
sound effects
sounds.
Okay, yeah, that's something worth mentioning just overall about the film. Every single sound effect inserted for a hit, like a punch or a kick or what have you, is the most cartoonish, exaggerated version you could possibly think of, and it's very funny.
And most of them hit late. Most of them are a couple seconds off. The guy will be bleeding and he'll fall to the ground and then he'll be dead, and then 2 seconds later it's bam. The impact.
What I'm saying is kudos, sound designer. Hats off to you.
I don't think he was looking at the movie when he sound designed it.
And then there's portions where the music is playing at a low level, so it's underneath the dialogue, but just so low you can barely hear it, and it's like a non-presence. But then after the conversation ends, it jumps in volume with no sort of gradation or keyframing.
The dialogue mixing is off the chain. Sometimes it's way too quiet. Particularly Mexican Burt Reynolds' dialogue is super quiet. I don't know why out of all of the characters he got the worst of it, but
he got the short end of the stick on audio. But we see the guys kick the ponytail guy and whatever. The next day, the journalist meets with El Capitan and they talk, and then they see the ponytail guy. Something ensues. Then they're in a restaurant. The captain and the journalist.
They take a double table to themselves. They are bad people. Like El Chapo may have killed 555 mariachi members and run a bunch of drugs or whatever, destroyed families. But these guys, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of this?
Scum of the earth.
At this table where they are drinking Mexican Pepsi, which is a new concept to me. I've seen plenty of Mexican Coke bottles, but they got the glass Pepsi bottle, and this is the point where the journalist somehow finally reveals that he has proof that Chapo has been escaping from prison.
Right.
Al mismísimo Chapo Guzmán.
By showing him photos of it, which we see him at the ranch earlier when they're doing the horse races. He's taking photos. So the captain's like, well, shit, why the fuck didn't you show me this earlier?
You mean that's what I was thinking like watching it as as a viewer? Why didn't this happen earlier in the story? Because I feel like that should have happened at the end of like the first act.
Then they take it to the higher up guy at the police station, and he's like, and he for some reason is still like, no, we can't do anything about this.
Yeah.
And
we started to assume he was dirty and was going to be like implicated at some point in the movie, but he super isn't. I don't know what his character like thought process was.
No. El Capitan and the journalists are like, we got to take this into our own hands. We got to stop this. We got to, because his friends are showing up to the prison and picking him up. The guards are in their pocket. So what is the best way to stop this from happening? Maybe getting security footage from the prison as evidence or something to finally convince I mean, I guess there's no convincing that guy, so maybe not that.
Yeah, like, maybe, just something to where you could, like, lay a trap and arrest everybody and get them all and put them all in prison where they belong.
No. The answer, very clearly, is to stop the people that pick him up, because they are the problem, not he himself or the prison. So they must stop the people who pick him up by pulling up to a restaurant with a very nice awning with Coca-Cola product placement all over it and kill everyone.
Burt Reynolds, Mexican Burt Reynolds, is depicted to be the greatest badass who has ever lived. He can annihilate whole rooms of people with no effort because he's the fucking baddest man in the whole cartel. And he and all of his friends just get casually gunned down by a policeman, by El Capitan.
He goes out like a bitch. Un pera.
They just walk up to the restaurant. Capitan with a gun in hand, journalist guy with a camera in hand, fanny pack around waist. And he just lays waste to all of these motherfuckers. Just dead.
You want there to be like a sequence, like, oh, he shoots one of them, and then Mexican Burt Reynolds ducks into the store, and it's like, oh fuck, there's people in there, and then he has to go kill them and not hit civilians or whatever. But there's no sequence. He shows up, he shoots them, and they all die.
Mexican Burt Reynolds is like the first person that they gun down.
Yeah,
he doesn't put up a fight at all.
No, that's the person you want to see die last. You want to see Mexican Burt Reynolds die last after having put up a fight, but no, he's gone. No. Then all the other guys just die.
As is my interest in the film.
Basically off screen. All of this with the desperation of the end of Scarface, where he's got his back against the wall and he's got nothing to do but to gun down all those guys. But it's the first thing that they try.
Yeah. No, well, it's the second thing they try behind, hey man, look at this photo. Oh, you don't believe that? Okay, I guess I'll kill everyone.
All right. Plan B it is.
A real loose cannon. Pretty much all that happens after that is... There's some other stuff that happens, but I mean, it's completely inconsequential because the end of the movie is just Chapo walks out of the prison casually the first time that we see him do it. The first time we see him walk out of the prison is the end of the movie, and he just walks out to the gate and looks outside confused because there's no one to pick him up.
Yeah.
That's the end.
In a normal film, El Capitan and Bruce Banner might have walked up and been like, ha, fuckhead, you're done. or at least sat outside in their car and watched him and been like, look at his stupid fucking face.
Yeah,
but
you're getting out of
or
that.
Police walk into frame and like you see the other side and there's just a bunch of cops like, that's it, asshole, you're done.
Yeah, we're dragging you back in.
Aaron, somehow it's even more embarrassing that no one's around to be like, we got you. He's just alone.
Yeah. No, he just looks outside and no one's there. His Uber did not arrive. And
that's really what it feels like.
Hey, where's my Uber at?
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus is not in the parking lot. I do not see the white 2005 BMW.
Yeah, no, Jesus, it said 15 minutes. He waited for 30. And now it says Jesus has arrived, but he can't see the fucking car. And now he's just depressed.
And you kind of like just look around right to left. You scan the area. You get up on your tiptoes to look over the fence over across the street. You don't see him.
Yeah, you'd send a text to make sure you didn't go to the wrong prison. But no.
Oh fuck! I adjusted the needle position. It's down the block. And start waving frantically.
Hey, dude. No, all of El Chapo's friends are dead because they were stone cold murdered by the police
in public.
And
you think that there might be a scene where like El Capitan and the journalists get commended, or Star Wars, they get the medal put on them, nice little bow at the end of the story, an epilogue. But no, there is a montage with more ranchera music of footage that we've already seen with no credits over top.
It's just more reused footage in a row for several minutes to get to the 90-minute runtime that somebody involved in the production was convinced they had to hit.
No, dude, I looked this up on Google. It says feature length is 90 minutes, so I mean,
yeah,
you don't want to embarrass ourselves.
Seriously, I'm just looking at El Chapo on Google, and it's like he has 2 escapes, the first of which happened in 2001. So I guess this movie was kind of just trying to ride like that wave of like, oh shit, he escaped in 01.
I didn't know this came out like the same year they did.
No, they jumped on it.
Yeah, I guess on top of everything, just no money and rushed.
Although it's January of 01. What?
So that means that they pumped this out within months.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know exactly when it came out, but yeah.
They probably shot this in a week and then cut it in 2 days and then dumped it out.
There is absolutely no information regarding this thing online. There's an IMDb listing where you can see the actors that, like the people that worked on it, but there's no further information other than that, and it was shot in Mexico and the language is Spanish.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if they got different stuff, but like the union rules in America say that feature length is 75 minutes long. So I don't know if there it's 90, so they had to scrape it all the way,
or
if they just looked it up on Mexican Google and got confused. But you do not have to make your movie that long.
Here's a possibility: it could be a television movie.
So it has to fit exact television formats.
Yeah, but that's not how TV movies are shot. I mean, there's a little bit of wiggle room given to those, you know?
Yeah.
Because networks understand, like, because they were released as, like, event things. But I guess that this was just casually maybe dumped on Telemundo or something.
Yeah, TV movies can range from anywhere from, like, high 70s to low 90s, at least that I've seen, because they get a 2-hour block and just put more ads in otherwise.
More or less, depending on what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some TV movies are 2 hours and have a 2.5-hour block. But
so that's a possibility, but again, we know nothing
about
this.
There's no information on the disc, and that's what we're reviewing here today.
Speaking of the disc, I guess we've talked about the movie. We've exhausted all the details we could probably talk about it. I mean, it really is just 3 or 4 scenes over and over again.
Yeah.
So that being said, it has come to the point where we determine it's a bargain because we've already talked about the video quality. It's absolutely insane.
It's
this has set the bar. We will never come across something with lower fidelity ever. Mark my words.
That's a challenge. Let's try. It's mono audio. It's 240p up-resed. That's what we're looking at. I ripped this so we could watch it online, and it's an 1.5-hour movie, and I just use like the default quality settings and everything. And normally to rip a movie, it'll take at least maybe like at the very least half of its runtime to maybe a little bit longer than its runtime. The entire 90-minute to the second rip of this movie took Handbrake 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's astounding.
So that is the fidelity.
Me and Evan, in an attempt to see if there were subtitles, watched multiple minutes of the beginning of multiple of the films, and this does not look worse than the disc at all. Disc looks like this.
The rip may have added some fidelity to it for all we fucking know. So, all this being said, we now come to the conclusion. Is this a bargain? How much did you pay for this, Evan?
I believe it was $5.
Yeah, I think it was a $5.
The DVD bin is generally $5 at Walmart. So for $5,
sometimes they're like $3.70, but I'm pretty sure this was $5.
I'm pretty sure this was
this is 4
$5.
movies, so probably $5. Keeping in mind that this is 4 movies, and we can only assume. Well, yeah, we know that it's all the same quality. 4 movies, no subtitles, no options, no trailers, no bonus features. One of the worst menus I've ever seen. Aaron, is Los Dos Reyes, El Señor del Cielo y el de la Tierra a bargain?
No.
Fuck. Fuck.
Yeah, okay. Here you go, audience. Even if you give this a $1.25 evaluation based on its $5 disc price and it being 4 movies, it looks like fucking dog shit. There's no subtitles or anything. There's no special features of any kind. They left several seconds of nothing after the scan of the VHS.
That's my favorite part, is like it ended and then there's this very scary gray like digital screen. I'm like, what the fuck? And it just keeps going.
Yeah, there's several more seconds.
For the longest 6 seconds of your life.
Yes. No, yeah, I guess it is only 6, but it felt like way more. This is a fucking shit ass fucking rip, and they dumped a bunch of movies on this disc seemingly with no connection to each other. Maybe we'll find more later, but it seems like they just grabbed the cheapest Spanish language content they could. They printed it on a single compressed ass disc from VHS transfers and then released it to the public. And that ain't worth shit, my guy.
For me to find.
Yeah, for Evan to find in the deepest, darkest corner of a bargain bin. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say no. This is not a bargain.
Okay. Up next, me. No, it's not a bargain. This is a testament to our dedication to formalism in this podcast. Mm-hmm. Evan randomly selected this movie that immediately we knew would have no value to us whatsoever. But, reporting to you, the audience, we knew we had to let you know. Yeah. We knew that all of you, all over the world, but especially you, one guy in Belgium, we knew that you had to know because you've been just sitting, waiting to know, because you saw this on eBay for $50 and you thought, damn, maybe.
Yeah.
Just maybe.
You couldn't wait any longer for the Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns reviews.
Well, we're here to put those jackasses in the dirt because we are here to tell you the fucking truth. Not a bargain. Evan, Mr. Disc Puller himself.
The man who actually put his money on the line.
Yes. You know,
Is this a bargain?
So, you guys said a lot of negative things about it, and all these things are true.
I thought we were pretty.
All these things are true.
I think so.
The quality is some of the worst I've ever seen, and as previously stated, I don't think we will ever top that, but we'll see. And there's no subtitles. Horrifying. But how can you really put a price on the experience that we all got watching this?
I don't think there were closed captions.
I think I would put negative money on it. People should be paying us for this.
Yeah.
The fact that we didn't do this after we started getting paid is
I'm
criminal.
fucking with you guys. It's not a bargain.
Okay. Well, there you go. Consensus.
Yeah.
3 out of 3. Not a bargain. Now we move to the portion where we determine if the movie contained on the disc itself is worth a recommendation. And while the other 3 movies are also there, we will just say, do we recommend La Fuga del Chapo? And if not, what do we recommend in its stead? Aaron, do you recommend La Fuga del Chapo?
Oh, I mean, it's a great movie, so I guess I have to say that no, fuck no, absolutely not. This movie sucks. I can't recommend it to anyone. Maybe if you speak Spanish, it could have mild amusement to you, but I feel like that actually make it more boring.
Yes, I think that's
tell,
just it. I mean,
but yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah, no, it's not the worst movie ever made. I don't want to make it sound like it. It's just the quality of this DVD is so poor, and then this movie is so empty, and it based on the timeline, it seems like it's a cheap cash-in. I cannot recommend it. I'm gonna, in its place, recommend a Spanish language movie that was also made for $4, which is El Mariachi.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez made that for $7,000. I believe, and he did pretty much every aspect of the production by himself, or close.
Which he continued to do for no reason.
For no reason. Forever.
In his other
to
movies.
To the detriment of later projects. But El Mariachi, which is a film I have not seen in 10 years probably, it at least has basic craft and thought to it. Robert Rodriguez knew he didn't have any money, and he shot the most basic coverage he possibly could that still conveyed the story. So there's still genuine action scenes. They're very cheap, and they're not going to hold up against multi-million-dollar movies. But there's something. The action scenes in this do not feel like action scenes. There's no blocking or layout to anything. It's just cop man walks up, kills all of the bad guys in one shot. Shot of them dead. Shot of Bruce Banner taking photos on his little Kodak camera.
There are 2 scenes where we see 2 characters pass the same piece of paper back and forth.
Yeah.
So there was that blocking.
There is a completely nondescript chase in the movie that we didn't mention because I don't understand how it factored in, but they did do a chase that was short and kind of fine,
and at 5 miles an hour.
And at 5 miles per hour. But yeah, El Mariachi has actual action sequences. You can tell who's important and stuff just by looking at it. It's a proper Spanish language, well put together for a no budget project. It's not my favorite movie in the world, but if you want something that's kind of comparable to this, you can do very few things that are better than El Mariachi.
All right. Well, I don't recommend it. Not quite as related to the movie as Aaron did, but prison movie that involves being in prison, maybe trying to get out of prison, the intrigue between what's going on inside and outside
Escape
of prison.
Plan.
We have mentioned it before.
Escape Plan 3. The Extractors.
No, but this is a film that I mentioned in that review. It is Brawl in Cell Block 99. S. Craig Zoller, one of the best directors out there working today. All 3 of his movies are great, but my personal favorite, for my money, Brawl in Cell Block 99. Vince Vaughn delivers an excellent performance as an ex-con who's driven back into the drug dealing game, another connection in this movie, and he gets caught, and then he ends up in prison. But the people that he burned in his last moments outside of prison get a hold of his wife, and they're gonna do something nasty to her.
Extremely nasty.
Oh, you have no idea. This movie is so fucking brutal. So be prepared for that. And it's 2.5 hours long, but it's worth every single minute. I've watched it probably 5 times since I saw it the first time, like 2 or 3 years ago. It's one of my favorite movies, maybe ever. It's just really fantastic. Vince Vaughn, Udo Kier, Don Johnson, Jennifer Carpenter, just all around fantastic.
Yeah.
Great action sequences. Great. Don't want to spoil much, but some cool effects.
Yeah, you could watch that loser stuff, but that's 2.5 hours long. Or you can come back to El Mariachi, which is 80 minutes with credits.
Wow.
A thing that I begged for this film to be.
Okay. Evan, Mr. Disc owner himself,
Yes.
Mr. I paid $5 and put it on the
I
line.
am the proud owner of Los Dos Reyes. I would not recommend the film or films, but I don't even have to.
We don't know that yet.
That's true. We can't speak for the other three.
Those other ones might be great and might have fantastic digital quality.
But I don't even have to say I don't recommend La Fuga del Chapo, because you're not going to find this. Good luck.
That's true.
Good luck. So in its place, I will recommend another Spanish language film called Wild Tales, or in Spanish, Relatos Salvajes. And basically, this film is made in Argentine. It's a black comedy anthology film that has 6 different standalone shorts. And it's all written and directed by the same guy, which is interesting, because I feel like that's not something you usually ever see with anthology films. They usually have different directors for each one. But this is Damien. Oh God, I'm not even going to try the last name. This is Damien's
from The Omen.
Singular vision.
Spawn of Satan himself.
And it's exceptional. It's extremely funny. I'm a big fan of dark comedy, and it just absolutely nails the tone. It has a lot of weird personal connections for me. There's one of the few scenes I've ever seen in a movie that has wedding videographers in it, which is something that Dylan and I used to do.
We have dabbled into the event videography game, and I have never seen I haven't seen many portrayals in general, but the scene in which you see the wedding videographers, which is such a specific field, someone working on that movie very clearly has done it before, because it is the most accurate portrayal of that line of work ever put to film.
It's amazing. It's basically the wedding goes to absolute shit. It's horribly awkward and unsettling, and the wedding videographers, you can just visually see them just curl up inside themselves because they don't want to be there.
Gotta get the money. You gotta get the second deposit, man.
But yeah, just overall, really well acted, well directed and written. It's got some crazy violence. Pretty much all of the shorts end with some kind of insane violence, which is always fun. So yeah, I would recommend Wild Tales.
There you go. Another successful episode of the Bargain Binge podcast. That's right, it's time for plugs. Everyone's favorite part of any podcast.
By far.
You can find us at bargainbingepod.com, and there are all of the links to all of your podcatchers. If it's not there, I've never fucking heard of it. Even the ones that are there, I've never fucking heard of. So you should probably be covered. You can also find the RSS feed there. You're completely covered. But importantly, link to our YouTube there, where I am uploading clips of the show, highlights, so you can revisit your favorite moments of Bargain Binge. and those come out weekly, so plenty of content over on our YouTube. Check that out. Smash that subscribe button. And here's something special for you. Sometime by the end of the week, I will have a highlight video of a commentary track that we recorded for this movie. So stay tuned for that. I think it should be good. I don't know. Once again, bargainbingepod.com for all of that. Leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts.
Just an email.
Tell everyone how handsome we are, how smart we are.
Yeah, as if they can see how handsome we are.
By what margin, Evan, is your least favorite number?
All right. I see how it is.
You can also email us those details at bargainbingepod@gmail.com, but you can also email us other stuff. I mean, Evan hate mail is one thing, but we would love to hear your questions, what you like, what you don't like. Help us improve. Or we'll just, spit in your face and get worse. Actually, yeah, we'll do that.
Probably that one.
And our Twitter is at bargainbingepod. Next week, on our bonus episode, we will be discussing Godzilla vs. Kong, the movie that saved cinema.
Big lizard,
literally.
Big monkey.
You're going to want to tune into that because I think that's going to be a fun conversation. Big Godzilla fans on this podcast.
And Evan.
Very informative. But until then, I have been Dylan.
And I've been Aaron.
And I've been Evan. Everyone's favorite member. Aaron's just saying that to protect his humility.
Not my incredibly thin and weak ego.
Adios.
Goodbye.
Adios, bargain bin fellas. Bargain bin amigos.
Ay, 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 ay.
Cut that. Cut that.
Yeah, don't include that. When are we gonna do black magic and turn Dylan into our cat?